Welcome to the Swimming from Home Talk Show. I'm here with Brent Hayden. Brent, tell me a little about just how you're doing today. What's your situation like?
I'm doing okay. I'm healthy. So I think that's the most important thing. Just living in the apartment with my wife and my mother-in-law, taking the news like everybody else. We got pretty big news last night when Canada announced that we were going to not send any athletes to Tokyo if they weren't postponed, which is a decision I fully support, and I'm proud of Canada to take that leading role and do that. And I think unless the IOC officially comes out and says that the games are going to be postponed, I imagine we're going to see other nations doing the same thing, but I think they're going to postpone it.
Yeah. What did you have an initial reaction to that news, or did you feel like that news was coming? Yeah.
It was. I've had a lot of different thoughts and different emotions because it's a lot to process. One, it's never a situation anybody would ever ask for. If I had known this was going to happen before doing my comeback, I don't know if I would have thought it would have been worth it, to be honest. But now that I'm here, just see, obviously I'm still processing it.
Yeah.
I'm happy that they did it because one, it takes that sense of unknown off. Now that I know that the Olympics aren't happening this summer, I can start to refocus and actually start working on getting a strategy in place. I mean, we'll still see what happens with the rest of the season, but I'm just going to at this point assume that the rest of the season is off. So that means that no Mare Nostrum, which was something I was really looking forward to. So we'll see.
Yeah, so that kind of segues into your comeback in general, which I personally haven't gotten to talk to you about, and I was super excited when I saw that you were coming back to the sport. Kind of what can you tell me about just what made you want to come back and how those steps were taken?
Yeah, it actually started. We were in Lebanon last summer. My wife and I were over in the Middle East. That's her home country. So that was my third time there, and we had this amazing pool at this country club was nearby. And even though I hadn't been swimming for the last 7 years, just if I could have a chance to just go and swim there, I was like, okay, well, if I got a chance to swim there, I'm gonna take it. So I reached out to the owner of the country club. He wrote back. He actually didn't even think it was me. He thought I was some troll or something. So, anyways, we went and met, and he just gave us access to this country club, and started swimming there on my own regularly to just to stay in shape, but also just there's something to do to get out in the sun and just enjoy being in the water and have that sort of routine. And the first few days, I couldn't even swim 200 meters. My arms felt like they were going to fall off, but my technique felt amazing. As you probably know, I've been running, even though I hadn't been swimming, I've been running my swim camps, and it was a goal of ours to actually launch our own online Learn to Swim program. So then we started filming the program. And while we were doing that, again, more and more, I just started to feel more and more amazing. And then we started doing some camps for some local clubs in Beirut. And the kids wanted to see me do a 25-meter sprint off the block. So told my wife to get the phone out, get the stopwatch, and I did it. And it felt really good. I don't remember what my time was, but I was surprised at how, I remember having an initial surprise reaction at how good it was. So I sent that off to my friend Brett Hawk to get his opinion. And he's like, dude, man, you could totally do a comeback. I was like, you really think so? So I dwelled on it for a bit and reached out to Swimming Canada and reached out to my old coach to see if they would support me in this, and it kind of just went from there.
So when did you officially retire?
Oh, 2012. I officially retired before the closing ceremony. So after my last race, but before the Olympics were over, I was like, gotcha. I was done. I know you didn't ask, but I'll say it anyways. Like the reason why I retired though is like my mental health was deteriorating that
Mhm.
year, as well as my chronic back spasms were getting worse and worse, and I didn't have any solutions in the foreseeable future to any of that.
Mhm.
Um, so at the current rate I was going, I felt that London getting that bronze medal really was a blessing, and it was like my opportunity to kind of go out on top. Um, because I didn't want to continue swimming if I felt like it was going to basically be a downward slope to the point where like I'm not even competitive anymore. So,
Yeah.
and I think I just wanted the time to take care of my mental health and get that back in check.
Gotcha. And so can you tell me, I mean, it's been that was a 7 year span, obviously, but 7, 8 year span. But what was your involvement in swimming or just in a healthy lifestyle, fitness, staying in shape during that period of retirement?
I was just going to the gym, probably 4, sometimes 5 days a week, just trying to, get my body stronger, trying to sort of keep that level of routine in my days, because that was the first thing I noticed when I retired. After like we flew to Lebanon, got married, spent a month there, and then we came home, and suddenly I found myself without a sense of routine in my day. I had basically all my goals were all swimming related, so those were gone. So getting back into the gym got me back into that routine, and it was a way for me to kind of have those small daily goals, as well as have giving myself that sort of sense of accomplishment every time you wake up, eat breakfast, go to the gym, do something, and get back home. But my wife would, um, after we got back home, like not having that actually, you could even see like the mental health even deteriorated even more, because I started getting like really irritable. Like the smallest things would just sort of irritate me. I get agitated, short tempered. So I think that's actually one thing why a lot of athletes, when they retire, they start to struggle, because they're losing those endorphins and that sense of routine, all those things that you're so used to having in your daily life, that basically the brain chemistry, or it starts changing. So getting back in that routine sort of brought that all back. I mean, I got in the pool. I think I could probably count on both my hands how many times I actually got in the water. Um,
Hmm.
but it was, other than unless it was like a really beautiful day, I was swimming outdoors in a pool next to the ocean, like at a kids pool here in Vancouver. Um, it was quite painful emotionally to get in. So I get in from like 1,000 years, and I wait to just get out and not be in the pool anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So recently, I guess once you've been in the pool, how have you felt being in the pool during your comeback? I guess compared to you saying it was just painful.
Yeah, and I think just being in Lebanon and just getting into the water every single day, also as well as just having the 7 years time, because they say time heals everything.
Hmm.
Like I kind of started to sort of fall in love with it again.
Hmm.
Started all the memories of the things that I loved about swimming started coming back. Um, so yeah, and then just like the things that I loved about it were being on deck with your teammates, going to the competitions, and not it was a lot of the stuff, like not necessarily the training or the competition itself, but all the little things sort of around that environment, especially the people that were
Hmm.
that were there, that came into my life. Just all those memories that other people wouldn't see because they're not on TV um, came back, and it was just the idea of having like a second chance to come back and do that. And if, my body was basically telling me that I was ready, like I couldn't say no to taking that chance.
Yeah. And up to this point, obviously, how would you analyze how your comeback was going for you
Oh man,
from a, yeah, in or out of the
it was
pool?
it was going so good until all this.
Yeah.
Like almost right away, I started posting personal bests in training on things like 25-meter sprints,
Okay.
kick sets, like. things that I thought would have taken a long time to build up to were like I was crushing goals like almost weekly. I might not have had the meters up. My endurance might not have been there, but all the short, fast, explosive stuff,
Hmm.
like doing personal best like crazy. And I mean, after only 6 months or so of training, I got my Olympic A qualifying time, 11th time in the world with that 21:97. I've only been under 22 for 50 free 4 times, and two of those were in the full body suits.
Oh,
So,
wow.
right, and like here I am at 36, retired for 7 years. Like, um, I mean, like I know I'm not the first person ever to come back late and see success. I mean, there's Anthony Irvin, there's Dara Torres, and those have
Hmm.
been really great examples that I've used to tell myself that it is possible. Because I think once you actually get that sense of belief, you know, successes and your those obstacles, the successes come and the obstacles sort of they don't really matter anymore. That's the best.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it.
I mean, that sounds really great. So, if you can, I know you said you're still processing, but how would you analyze kind of where your comeback's at this moment?
Yeah, like my last training session was Saturday of last week, so over a week
Okay.
ago, and I did another best time for a 50 kick long course. I mean, I know there's like I got teammates who are better than me at it, but me going a 32-1 was really amazing because I think my best time actually stood from training camp in 2002 from the
Oh, wow.
18 before the Commonwealth Games. So we're going a long way back. And this year I'd broken that best time twice, and I did one of those on Saturday. So I mean, I'm in shape. Like I believe I would have done well in Tokyo if they had been going on this summer. But
Hmm.
if there's anything that these 7 years off without swimming taught me is that not being in the pool does not mean I'm going to get out of shape. Right?
Yeah.
It's actually an opportunity to strengthen my body in other ways that I couldn't do with just the pool. Um, so that means I'm going to be doing a lot of dryland training, weight training as much as I can. I mean, I'm not going to the gym right now, but I've got resistance bands. I've got my Finis slide dryland trainers that I love. I've got other stretch cords. I picked up a medicine ball from the pool. They opened it up one day last week for us to run in and grab whatever we needed. I got a
Hmm.
few weights lying around. So there's lots of things that I can do to get creative to keep making my body stronger.
Yeah. Yeah. So, kind of out. Oh, wow. Okay. So SwimSwam just reported that according to an IOC member, the 2020 Olympics will be postponed.
Yeah, that's Dick
Um,
Pound, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Dick. Well, I don't know if you knew this, but before me, Dick Pound was the only Canadian ever to be in a 100-meter freestyle final, and he did that I think in the '60s.
oh, wow.
Uh, and he was the guy who actually hung the medal around our necks for the 100 free podium. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, actually, I just saw that right before we hopped on the call. Um, so that makes me happy that the IOC is making the right decision. I think, or I wish they had made this decision before other countries had to start saying we're not sending athletes. Right, they
Hmm.
should have taken the lead, but it is what it is. So I'm happy they've done this. So it's just to kind of again take that sense of unknown off the minds of all the athletes. We can all re-strategize and get back to, well, what's the most important thing we got to focus on right now? Now we know it's
Hmm.
not sport. It's about everybody staying safe, staying healthy, and doing our part to just make sure that we get this virus, eradicated. Just get it done.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. So that leads perfectly into what my next question was going to be. So, kind of outside of swimming, physical training, fitness, um, how have your focuses shifted? It's like everyone's got all this time at home. Um, are you doing? Have you chosen to focus on anything specifically now that you have all this time to just be at home?
Yeah, actually, right after this call, I'm going down to my small gym in the building here, and
Okay.
I want to put together a program of dryland training for swimmers, so everybody can follow it. So I'm going to go and
Mhm.
I'm gonna film that. It might take me a few days to put it together. We're not sure exactly how it's all going to be how it's going to be put together, but that's what I'm going to do right now over the next few days to stay busy. And I mean, there are countless ways that people can now use the time to get creative to stay in shape. I lived in Egypt for a few months, and
Okay.
we didn't have a gym anywhere, so I just found this broken broomstick in the closet. Got these two huge water jugs, filled them up with water, hung a bottle on each end of the stick, and would go through my exercises that way. So yeah,
Yeah.
just get
Um,
creative and have fun, because I mean it's an opportunity to do something that you're not used to doing.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So on the mental health side of things, do you think there is anything you'll be doing? I guess, what will fitness be helping with that? Do you think
Oh yeah,
your outlook will change on the mental health side now that you can't go outside? Um, what are you thinking
yeah.
mentally for yourself?
You know, keeping that routine, like I said before, you got to keep that workout routine going, even
Hmm.
if you're not an Olympian or even a swimmer or an athlete. I think when you're stuck indoors, like you got to keep that routine up here. You got to keep the endorphins going
Hmm.
um, for your own mental health. Right, just sitting on the couch and just being on your phone watching Netflix or whatever, like you might be fine for a few days, but you're going to start to, oh, you're you're gonna start having some struggles
Hmm.
come up. So just if that's the only part of your day that you can use to keep that sort of sense of normalcy or routine in, then you got to do it. Right. It'll also give you a sense of daily accomplishment as well, which I think is really important.
Yeah. So, has there been a moment in this comeback so far that it has been a particular highlight, or maybe what you might call a favorite?
Yeah. I think it was that meet in Des Moines going sub 22 for the 50 free. Like it's one of those things where I'd had so many people ask me over the years that, Brent, if you ever came back, how fast do you think you could go? And I would always say, well, if I came back, because I definitely got a lot stronger over the years.
Hmm.
Um, I said I could probably break my Canadian record in the 50 freestyle. All right. I definitely think that record should be faster, and if I'm the one that needs to do it, then I'll do it. So I think it proved that I'm knocking right there, and if I can work on my dive, so Caleb doesn't kill me on the first 15 meters like he did, then uh, I yeah, I think I could crush it.
Yeah, that's awesome. um, any closing thoughts you've got?
Yeah, I think everybody just use this time to your advantage. I know like a lot of swimmers are dealing with nagging injuries and things like that. Use that time to take care of yourselves and work on the things that you can take care of. Some weaknesses you can work on making your strengths. And like I said, you look at me as the example of a guy who didn't swim for 7 years, right? If this ends up rolling into 1 year, which I don't think it will, as long as you're taking care of your health and your body, your mental health, and you're eating right, you're going to be fine. Okay, so don't stress. Okay, just figure out different ways you can just still keep moving forward.
I think you said it all. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Brent.
Yeah, thanks, Coleman.